Sanchez is that he's able to attack so well on the backhand and digs the ball in low to Sanchez, who then finds it quite difficult to pass. It's interesting too that Edberg has an advantage over Sanchez on clay as well, leads him 5-3 in that department, and so that gives you some idea really of the general
Two Britons in action today. Tim Henman taking on Steve Campbell, and Greg Rosetsky against Justin Gimelstob, one of America's top juniors. Well, as soon as we have any news of their progress on outside courts, we'll let you know. Well, Emilio showing that he has the ability to counter-attack on the backhand.
Well, that's going to be an important aspect of the match. You could see from the very word go that Edberg, as Edberg usually does, hungry to get in.
And you could hear from our effect. Perfect lengths on the approach, right onto the baseline. Kids' Day today in Key Biscayne. About 1,000 kids from the local schools in Dade County been invited in. Paul Harhouse we were mentioning, he's been one of the players with them today. 14,000 is the capacity.
Well, Edberg not always as safe as Houses on the forehand volley.
Stefan, after his defeat by Michael Chang in Indian Wells, stayed there, preferring the better weather that one gets in California this time of the year than in Florida. He was practicing a lot with Magnus Larsson, and of course the backhand volley has always been as safe as Houses. The other thing that I know you watched quite a lot of the coverage that impressed me about Stefan was that he hardly missed an overhead all week, which is unusual for him.
Yes, sooner or later, if they put up enough lobs, you do expect him to miss. Of course, what he doesn't do is always put them away first time.
Well, Emilio had guessed right, but there was so much angle on that he had no chance of running down the smash.
Yes, so you enjoyed your spell in Indian Wells. Did you see any, and did you drink any? Did you see any Indians, and did you drink from the wells at all?
I drank from the wells, but not too much of the water. I didn't see any Indians, no. But it certainly is a lovely place. And Charlie Passerelle and Ray Moore, of course your fellow South African, do a great job at that tournament. Here's another overhead from Edberg, timing the ball nicely, but it was the approach that set it up.
Well, you can see the danger really from Sanchez's point of view. If he plays this waiting game, Edberg's just going to prey on him. And it'll be interesting to see how Sanchez combats the net player, whether he serves and volleys now.
So a break of serve to love for Stefan Edberg. Day.
Rather nice conditions for playing. Interesting too that the fastest recorded serves by both these players are up at about the same level, really, about 120 miles an hour. Sanchez just a little ahead. 120.6, the fastest ever by Sanchez.
Well, I haven't heard a call yet.
I think Edberg thought it was a let.
The replay would suggest it did catch the line. Of course, we've got the trembler device here. You can see, well, Emilio, I don't think he's arguing about the let. He's perhaps arguing about the call. But no overrule from Paulo Pereira, who would certainly understand Spanish, being a Brazilian. Although, I suppose also Portuguese. So the first ace for Edberg.
Well, he didn't play the volley badly, but he obviously expected Sanchez to move across.
That was a let. Better.
Yes, so he likes them when they come at that sort of height. And of course, this is going to be what Sanchez really has to do. Is if he's going to play them, he's got to play them as he did in the first point of this game. Really keep the return low.
Well, there was a bit of a struggle, but in the end, Stefan.
On the other hand, I suppose people would say, well, why not arrive early and get as used to the conditions as you possibly can?
Well, again, I mean, you're not entirely convinced about the call, but he's accepting it, so 15 all.
Yes, I think it was bad judgment on his part, but that was more the rally that I expected Sanchez to play. Even if he's not going to serve volley, at least come in behind the second shot.
Oh, Stefan, that's a bad miss. Normally as safe as houses, but trying to do perhaps a little bit too much.
Yes, I think he was remembering the previous volley he played there when Sanchez stood his ground, and he figured if Sanchez was going to stay his ground again, he's really got to wrap it.
Well, there's an example of Stefan not being able to put the smash away, but still being in control.
Yeah, it's actually a bit more annoying to end up losing the point like this for Sanchez, because he gets back into it, and then a really tiring volley.
So Sanchez championships. And it being a 96-man field, it's just like a Grand Slam. There are 7 rounds if you include the final. So if an unseeded champion is to emerge, he has to win 7 matches. If one of the seeds wins, because they all get byes, obviously they just need to win 6.
What, and best of 3 sets until the final?
Yeah. Yes, it's best of 5 for the first time this year. It's the first time that I can remember. Actually thinking back when they started it as a 2-week tournament, then it used to be best of 5, and then when they moved it down to 10, although this year, of course, they've gone back to 11 days, play having started yesterday.
Yes, I would think that best of 5 set final really is a far greater test, and really far more like a Grand Slam in that respect.
So it's a very convincing service game from Stefan, who was the runner-up in 1990. One of the big titles to have eluded him. Not many have. As most significantly, of course, the French Open runner-up to Michael Chang in 5 sets in '89.
I think he's quite enjoying the conditions today. He seems to be middling the ball well.
Yes, that's a classic Edberg point, using that backhand with off the ground and at the net.
And what he also enjoys is the fact that Sanchez just doesn't have quite enough pace to get by him, so that providing he's got Sanchez just a little stretched, he's generally going to get to the next shot.
So you see Edberg being very successful at the net, 75% of points won. In a way, it is almost a throwback to a different era, and not just because they're 2 30-year-olds, but their style of play. They don't have the really powerful ground shots of the modern era.
No. Much more classical, as you say.
Two men who, between them, have won 56 singles titles, and a lot of doubles as well. Set of tennis balls in play.
I'm not sure I can think of any other tournament in which they seed 32 players. It seems remarkable, really. Of course, those people who are for seeding will be all for it. There was a stage when many people, myself included, were in some ways against it.
Yes, I think 32, and it's something they've always done. Of course, originally was the Players' Championships, and the ATP and the WTA decided, well, we're going to have as much seeded protection as possible, but